Welcome back again. I really apologize for going off, and we're going right into this section. I cannot wait. I'm super excited, and I'm sure that you are as well. Our speakers and panelists are ready, and we're going right into this section immediately. So we're going to be looking at breaking into the industry and career journey stories. Okay, and this is really, really very important because we're going to be learning from people who have gone ahead of us, people who have spent over 10 years, 8 years, 5 years, 20 years, have had all of these experiences in their own career, and we're going to pick a lot of gems from their story and use it to, leverage on it to build our own career journey as well. And so please do well to make welcome with me our first panelist. I'm going to be reading briefly his bio, and I want us to do something, please. Once I'm introducing the panelist, I want you to drop in the comments your claps, how excited you are, your expectations and everything. I want to be able to feel that energy, and I want our panelists to be able to feel that energy as well. Is that a deal? Please type in the comments that you're ready so I know that we're ready to go. Type in the comments that you're ready. This section has to be very interactive and engaging so that we can make the very, very good use of it. Okay, great. I can see ready. Amazing, amazing, great. And so our first panelist today is an associate director in the management consulting practice of KPMG's advisory services in Nigeria. And he has gathered about 13 years of professional experience in power and utilities, oil and gas, agriculture, public sector, maritime, amongst other sectors. He has also delivered advisory services to clients covering markets and feasibility study, business planning, and a whole lot more. And he's also the project management professional. He's also a project management professional and an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Please, at this point, I want you to drop the virtual claps and the virtual screams and the virtual excitement as to make welcome the first panelist on this panel show today, Mr. Ayotunde Funsho. You're very welcome, sir. It's such an honor to have you on this panel.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to also be making welcome our second panelist for this panel section. Thank you, sir. Amazing. And our second panelist is none other than Mr. Abraham. He's an experienced investment banking professional, and he possesses years of financial advisory and capital raising experience across power, oil and gas, infrastructure, agriculture, financial services, and real estate projects. He was a member of the team that developed the economic recovery and growth plan of the federal government. He is a certified management consultant and fellow of Institute of Management Consultants. He is also a specialist in equity and debt investment instruments with a core focus on private equity and venture capital investment. He's an award-winning Yali Fellow, the Young African Leaders Initiative, where he won the 2018 Star of Entrepreneurship Award. Please help me make welcome a second panelist for this panel section, Mr. Abraham Durosawo. It's such an honor and pleasure to have you on this panel section, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Please, guys, I want you to keep dropping the claps. I want you to keep celebrating our panelists. They are amazing, as you can hear from the bios, and this is just an abridged version. So keep dropping the love, keep dropping the claps as I make welcome our third panelist on this amazing panel section. And she's none other than Ms. Lara Yeku, who is the head of HR Food Division at Flour Mills of Nigeria. I don't know if she knows me, but I've been able to encounter her on a virtual event. We had a 9-to-5 chick, and listening to her for 1 hour speak at that event was really, really amazing. I just want to say I appreciate you, Ma. She is a global HR leader, a coach, and a strategist who has had a progressive career climb. She started a career at Cadbury Nigeria PLC and then moved to one of Nigeria's fastest growing HR consulting firm, and a whole lot of her journey process, which has been amazing. In 2008, she joined the HR team at Accenture and rose to the position of the country HR lead. She cares about the professional growth of HR professionals, and she founded the HR Gems Coach Network, a platform that offers a safe haven for HR professionals to thrive, learn, share, and build life transformational skills. She's also the author of the first of its kind imaginative mentoring true storytelling concept book called My HR Storybook for HR Professional. And she's currently the head of HR Food Division at Flour Mills of Nigeria. Please join me as I make welcome our third panelist on this amazing panel section, Lara Yeku. I want you to drop the loves and the claps and appreciate our third panelists. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And so our fourth panelist on this amazing panel section is none other than Mr. Adewale Yusuf, who is a CEO at TechPoint Africa. He is a visual storyteller with a strong interest in technology and humanity ecosystem. He has followed closely the happenings in the African tech sector for more than 7 years, and he is the founder and CEO of an African leading technology media platform called techpoint.ng, and he plays an instrumental role in the African technology ecosystem. He's also the chief host of TechPoint Inspired, TechPoint Build, and when he's not talking tech, he's also a professional photographer. He loves traveling more than breakfast. Amazing. Please help me make welcome our fourth panelist and final panelist on this panel section, Mr. Adewale Yusuf, the CEO at TechPoint Africa. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Amazing. I'm so excited, as you all can tell from my voice, because I'm looking forward to learning a whole lot from these four powerful individuals. We're going to be learning their career journey, and this is the way it's going to happen. We have just about 1 hour, 15 minutes rather, for this section, and I want to make it as valuable as possible. So I will be asking questions, and then I would leave it open to the floor when it's like 20 minutes into the time. Is that cool? If you're ready, please start getting your questions ready. We have 4 powerful people you would need to learn from. So get your questions ready, and we'll make the very best use of our time this afternoon. So I'm going right into this. Mr. Ayotunde, good afternoon again.
Good afternoon.
Great. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm so grateful to God for your career journey. It's been an inspiration to all of us. Can you kindly tell us how you got into your position and what drew you to your field? Just generally tell us about your career journey.
Thank you very much, Victoria. To be very cheeky, I can say I got into my position by a process. I didn't just happen to be a director just today. But the journey started about, if I can say, 18 years ago, when I took the decision to attend the University of Benin. May I mention too that I'm an alumnus of University of Benin. So that's where the journey started from. I took a particular course at a previous higher institution of learning, and that course had to do with business and strategy. And yes, greatest uniband to the world. I can see that already from the attendees. So ever since then, I've had to focus my mind on trying to help businesses to improve and also be at any point in time in the room where decisions are being made about businesses. It was then I began to find out what type of organization would give you that privilege to be able to help businesses and also be in the room when some critical decisions are being taken, and not only for one business, for multiple businesses. At the time when I finished my education in Uniben, I sought for a role within the strategy function of an organization. And after which KPMG came along, and I realized that it gives me the opportunity to work across industries, to work across sectors, to work across competencies, and affect organizations in positive ways and help them solve their problems. And that's what has been my main motivation since the beginning of my career 13 years ago.
Amazing. It's been such an interesting journey, you know. So let me take it over to Miss Lara Yeku. And then I'll come back to you. I have lots of questions for all of you. I'm so excited about it. So, Ms. Yeku, can you kindly share with us your own career journey? What has it been like? How did you start? How many years have you spent? And, you know, how did you get the position that you're currently on?
All right, everyone. Good afternoon once again. So my career journey spanned back as far as about 17 years ago, where for me, career then was go to school, get a degree, and get a job. That was what I understood about career many years ago. And then my career also was influenced by my parents. My mom wanted me to be a medical doctor. I have my story in my HR storybook already. And I wanted to live my parents' dream. I didn't understand what it means to have a purpose. I didn't understand what it means to, what owning a career was all about. So I started that way, read biochemistry. I wanted medicine, but JAM kept jamming me. I didn't meet up the medical school cutoff. Eventually, they gave me biochemistry. You know, and I took up the course, did well, and I got into a manufacturing industry, Cadbury, many years back. I was in the laboratory because I majored in clinical biochemistry. But 1 year into biochemistry, I got frustrated. It was very restrictive. I realized that it was not me. It was me trying to live what my parents wanted me to become way back then. And I said to myself, no, I need to change career path. What I discovered then was I liked the HR people because biochemistry was in medical, was under medicals.
I think we lost our internet.
Okay, so I was thinking from my end, but thank God I was able to hear you now. So hello, while we're waiting for her to join us, you know, we're in the third world country and anything can happen as regards
and we're working very closely with HR.
Connection, but please do. Okay, she's back. Okay. So let's just wait for 30 seconds. Let's see if the network gets back immediately so she can continue. If not, we move to our third panelist who's going to be sharing his own career story as well. So this is, as I was saying, this is Nigeria in the third world continent, and things like this are bound to happen. But not to worry, we're going to make the very best use of our time here. It's a virtual event, and we promise you an amazing experience nevertheless. So while we're waiting for Miss Yeku to continue her story.
Hello?
Okay, so she's back.
Village people.
Okay, great. You're back. Welcome back, ma.
Sorry, it's village people.
I can hear you.
It's village people. Don't forget me.
Don't worry, we are doing fasting and prayer on topics.
Exactly.
We will still hear the story.
You don't want me to share my story, village people. I will share it.
Okay, ma, you can proceed. You will hear it. You must hear it.
Don't mind them. I will say it. So as I was saying, then I got an admin job, even though I wanted an HR job, but I was focused, I knew what I wanted. So I took up that opportunity at that time. And I'm going to be a bit very open here. So the job was a low-paying job. I was living in Durosawo. I don't know if any of you know where Durosawo in Lagos is. And the job was in Lekki way back then. But I knew that I wanted to learn. So I was looking for an opportunity to learn first, not salary, not pay, but a platform to learn. So I took up that job then. I was doing my admin job. Then I would go to other departments. I was building relationship. I was making my intentions known that, okay, I'm in admin today, but I'm interested in HR. I was learning on the job. I had the right attitude on the job. And of course, I was performing on my admin job. Shortly after that, a couple of months, somebody resigned in HR. There was a vacancy. And guys, who do you think they will consider? Me. Because I'd done my job well, I'd built relationship, And of course, I've also shown good attitude that I can learn on the job. And I took up that job. And 16 years down the lane, I've done HR. Now, how did I get my current role? Another story for another day, but I'll summarize it. So I haven't worked in consulting firm, then I moved to DHL, then I moved to Accenture, wherein my passion also expanded towards helping businesses and people to solve problems and transform their businesses to take it to another level. Then I had to go through a redundancy, so I lost my job. I lost my job after so many years, but guess what? Because my career was not centered around my job. My career was centered around my purpose, around the reason why I live. Even when I was not out of a job, I was still in my career. And my career was solving problems, was trying to ensure that I was able to give an impact and solve problems. My book, my HR storybook that I wrote it at a point where I had no job. I had been laid off. I had nothing to do, but I was still focused on making an impact and solving a problem. I found problem with mentoring, and I said to myself, how can I bring solution to closing this mentoring gap? And I thought about a creative storybook where HR people can share their stories so people can learn. And that book came from the period where I had no job. What is my point here? So my career journey has transitioned out of being in a position or being in a job, but being clear with purpose, being clear with what my life goals are, and being able to solve problems at every point in time. So for me, it's making impact even while on the job, solving problems for businesses, solving problems for people, still making impact. And yet, even outside the job, making an impact. I got into my current role 1 year, 2 weeks ago exactly. And I can say that it's been very interesting because an expanded role, I'm into manufacturing and a whole lot of other things. But the bottom line is my career journey has spanned, has transitioned, has transformed, but I ensure that regardless of whatever event life was presenting me at every point in time, I was still living a fulfilled career life. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. There's something that you said that I picked, which struck, and I'm sure that every other person took note of that, is when you said your career wasn't really centered around your job. It didn't matter the activities with what you were doing. Your career was beyond an activity. It was more about purpose. And I mean, so despite all the pitfalls that came with your career journey, you were able to still stand up to it because of that purpose. Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much, man. I'm coming back to you, but let me ask Mr. Adewale, who's the CEO of TechPoint Africa, on his career journey. Mr. Adewale, sir, we'd like to know your career journey and how you got to this position. What made you to, what was a career journey like for you over the past 7 years?
Okay, thank you. And thanks to the organizer of this. I really appreciate it. It's an opportunity for everyone because I'm learning myself. I learned from Miss Lara and Mr. Ayotunde. So thank you, everyone. So for my own career, it's not a typical, it's not a direct path. Some years ago, I was in a church and I was privileged to listen to a young man that just came from the US from his master's then. And he was just preaching like, oh, okay, tech is the future. It wasn't like he was on the pulpit preaching, but he just gathered the young people, just talking to them. And he was saying, like, you need to tap into the tech because if you know how to program, you know how to write code, and you don't need formal education for it, like the world, you can get anywhere in the world. And the future we are going into is the technology. And I think this was late 2009. This was late 2009, like a decade ago now. So, and he was just preaching it. And I was privileged to be part of it. And I just told him like, oh, okay, this is not my background, but how can I join this? And he said, no, nothing. You just need to find a way to get a laptop. And from there, you need to learn how to code. I remember then I started with Nairaland, going to Nairaland, learning how to write programming code. Like, okay, I actually started on my mobile phone. You understand? I was learning. Then from there, I was working somewhere then I resigned from the job that I was doing. Then I went to volunteer for a company and I was a quality assurance tester then. So then from there, I started moving. So my journey was just like that. You understand? I just keep learning. But one thing I focused on is I know that the future that we are all talking about is almost here. As at then, it was almost here. Now we are in the future. If this was last year, this conference will happen in a physical space where people, all of us will have joined on a flight down to Benin just for us to meet. But now the future is here, and the future is going beyond this place. It's going to place of hologram where you have to have a virtual experience. The virtual space is becoming something vivid and inevitable. So that was then, it was just, it wasn't practical then. It was just an ideal future, but now we are in it. So that was that was the way I started my own career, just learning everything from, and just resigning. You understand? Know when to move, because you go to a company, but just know that, oh, is my skills useful for in this place? Am I growing at all? Am I contributing? As Miss Lara mentioned, like salary wasn't my pay. The pay wasn't the motivation that time, but I just knew that I have to build something. You understand? You just know that it's about time. These things everybody's looking at, the time will come, and you need to ask yourself, like, see, I'm really sorry to say, I know there are a lot of students here, but it's not the certificate that you have from school that will actually get you to be valuable in the world you are entering into. And it's getting, in the past, it was a bit better, but you guys in the future we are entering into, where you are going to be graduating into the reality world, is going to be different. It's going to be different in the sense that you are going to live in a global village. The job you will be fighting for, someone in China will be fighting for it as well. Someone in Indonesia will be fighting for it. So that's the career I had then. I mean, that was my idea, and I keep running and I keep running. And one thing that has helped me to do is to know how to think. You understand? To know how to think every day. It's not just Tech Point I'm building. I have other companies, you understand? I'm trying to build. They're not just local companies, because by the way, I saw in the introduction you wrote techpoint.ng. That was like the bio you read was the old one, very, very old, because right now we are not techpoint.ng, we are actually TechPoint Africa. We have operation in Nigeria and Nairobi, and with other ways of partnership in South Africa, in Japan and China and others. But all I'm trying to say is, for me, I just keep growing, because I know this is an individual. I mean, it's personal. Your career now is personal. Your career before, it can be like, oh, when I get out of school. In my company, everybody we hire, we don't hire you based on your certificates, based on what you studied in school. Nobody cares now. And a lot of companies are going to, because now companies are realizing that we need talent. You understand? It's this technology we are talking about. It's not an option. It's an inevitable part of what we are doing. So you need to know that this journey is for yourself. It's personal. You keep learning, and most of the things I learned from myself is on YouTube. I do learn from YouTube, and there are a lot of courses even online that you have to join. You understand? You can go to Harvard, MIT, right from your office or right from the home, from wherever you are, and you can use that to build your career journey. So for me, my career journey wasn't just straight. It was just like I was just looking for that future, and I keep pivoting and I keep building, and that's what really got me to where I am. And for me, it's never even about where I am now. It's just about where I'm going. But that foundation that I know how to move, I know how to blend, I know how to create, I learn how to think. Those are things that really help me, and I believe everybody should know about that and should learn about that. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. I picked a lot from your journey. One thing that was very loud in it is intentionality, and then personal development. Another thing is you were quite sensitive to the environment. Despite you studying something not tech related, you knew that the future of work is going to be tech. And despite you not having, in quotes, the qualification you did not allow that to deter you. Instead, you went all out to develop yourself in that area, and you built something marvelous out of it. I just want to say thank you for sharing this amazing journey and story with us. We're going to get back to certification because you mentioned that, and I know that a lot of persons are itching to hear more about it. You know, the place of certification, experience, qualification, and all of that. I will come back to that soon. But we have one panelist. I really want to hear his story, Mr. Abraham. I would like to know your career journey. What was the starting point like, and how has the journey been like for you? Mr. Abraham, sir, please, over to you.
All right, thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you for the team. I'm glad that I'm the last you are calling out, because that has given me a very good opportunity to learn from all the panelists, you know, Lara, Adewale, and Ayotunde, people that I already follow on social media, but I'm glad we are meeting on this platform. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is make sure you are writing. See all the things I've written while they are speaking, because you are going to forget. Excellent. Yes. So there is always look for an opportunity to learn. You will see Adewale mention that a lot. So make sure you have a notebook where you're writing. I'm also writing. Yeah. Then the second thing which Lara mentioned is problem solving. I'm going to tie that to what Adewale has said. Since almost the last 13, 14 years, I have not collected my certificate from my university. It has never been an issue. I've never needed it, you know, and that is just to reinforce what Adewale has said. So my own journey also started about 19 years ago. I got admission to study physics, because I believe a lot of you are wondering, I study physics and I've done finance. Yeah. Okay, so I used my hand to pick physics. I was not given. I just wanted to explore. You know, what is life about? You know, I just wanted to, I remember my mom always told me when I was growing up, I can follow a fly into the bush, trying to understand what's the plumage, the color, and all those kind of things. You know, so I don't know maybe why Providence made me to choose physics, right? So I studied physics. But entering to university, 2002, I schooled in the North, in Milan, Federal University of Technology. I discovered first semester that it appears I'm in the wrong country or in the wrong academic institution. Because one, we spent almost 2 months trying to get registered, and then we got into the classroom and they were hitting us with all kinds of theories and textbooks and photocopy of ancient materials that I don't understand. All right. So, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. Anyways, that is how I survived the academic environment. Right. But right from there, I began to ask myself, what do I really want to do with my life? What am I going to get out of this educational system? You know, it was in that state of dilemma, and I'm also going to mention, I met the right set of friends. My closest friend in university throughout the 5 years is a co-founder of Budget. One of my closest friends is a very senior software architect at InterSwitch. And those are the friends that we all spend time together throughout university. That is one. Then secondly, so now, please take notes. The kind of people you hang around is critical. Number two, we entered the school, we spent 2 months trying to get registered. And about 4 of us came together and said that we are going to change this experience. And that was when programming and computing really started coming into Nigeria. That is how I went from studying physics into computer programming. So we said, what can we do about the situation? We shouldn't be killing ourselves, queuing, carrying papers all over the place. We are going to solve this problem. Long story short, by our first year 400 level, from that year onwards, that's when the school has been doing online registration. It took us 3 years of studying our own academics and also solving a major problem that the school had. And that was how I got into programming. So most of our pocket money then, we would send it to the US, other software from Microsoft. You know, we used to queue for school computing then. It's not like now everybody has a PC, you know, and that was how I got started. So keep in mind, what is important is problem solving, because what did that do? By the time I was in my 4th year university, we were already earning salaries from the school fees of our mates. Okay, now, The next thing I want to say is understand who you are. By the time we were doing that, we were on the project, I was working for the school, my 400 level, we did our IT there, 500 level and all of that. I began to ask myself questions. What do I really want to do with my life? So think about your lifetime, maybe when you are 70-year-old, you are 80 or 90-year-old. When you look back on your lifetime, what difference will you have made on the earth? At the point that you want to die, would you look back and say, man, I've lived a good and impactful life, I'm ready to go? I began to ask those questions. That made me to do a lot of introspection, a lot of personality tests. I did a lot of it then, trying to figure out who am I, what do I love to do, what are my interests, what would I like to be? And I discovered that, mix that with physics, I was very analytical. And if you remember from physics, there is never a correct answer. A man climbed a bike, is going in this direction, wind blew him to another direction, find the force of gravity of, some very funny something. There's no correct answer, so you have to start thinking about all the laws of physics, all the laws of mathematics, and so on. And why is this important? Steve Jobs said something that when you look back on your life, you will be able to connect the dots. So bring that into today where I'm dealing with businesses, we are raising capital. We do not take any answer as correct. You begin to question, why is this so? Why is your operation like this? Why are you struggling to raise capital? Why are you this? Why are you that? So you can see how physics, my curiosity, my personality as a very analytical person, and I love numbers and I love, brainstorming and all of that. And that's how that show played out in the career I eventually chose. So towards the end of my years in the university, I discovered that as much as I love tech, I'm not a natural coder. I'd rather be on the business angle, the business analysis, client interfacing, do presentations, sign agreements, do the negotiations. So I started shifting towards that direction and spending time studying and learning about business, contracting, negotiation, finance, analysis, and all of that. So during my NYSC and after my NYSC, which is the next lesson I want to say, I had settled that I love businesses and I love finance. And then coupled with the fact that if you read physics those days, of course, they always tell you are going to teach. I didn't want to teach. And two, because teachers didn't have money, I wanted to be very, very wealthy. So those are the things, so I now decided that yes, I think I love finance. I'm able to bring all this thinking and analysis and number and, all of that skill sets to help businesses to be better, to raise capital. And then talking about the long-term game, remember I said that you should look on your life journey. What impact do you like to make on the earth? I would like to see Africa developed. For Africa to develop, there has to be a lot of thriving businesses. For a lot of thriving businesses to be able to hire and expand, they need capital. That is the sole reason why I'm doing finance. All I do year in, year out is to advise businesses and most importantly, to help them raise capital. That is what I've done over the last 12, 13 years. And how did I get started? After my NYC, I worked with a company, we shared the same floor with a private equity company, one of the first on this continent, who they invested in MTN some years back. If you do your research, you'll know who they are. It was from that environment I started learning private equity, capital raising, what do they look out for, how do you analyze a business? And guess what? I worked there for a year without pay because I wanted to be on the direction I wanted to go in life and to learn. So I was privileged to meet a lot of people. Most of the people I worked with then went to Harvard, went to Stanford, went to Wharton, and working in that environment really helped me. So the next thing I'll say is make sure you are working in the midst of people who are very, very smart and you can learn a lot from. And like Lara said, a lot of time, it's not even about the salary. In the last 12 months, what have you learned? So for me, that is critical. So I worked there for about a year without pay, but I learned so much about capital raising, about financing. And then from there, another opportunity opened up with Lekki Concession Company, sometimes in 2009, 2010. It is the first successful public-private partnership funded toll road infrastructure in sub-Saharan Africa. Again, because it's a project that has not been done before in this part of the world, I had the opportunity of working with people from across different continents, from South Africa, from Europe, from Asia. And that gave me amazing opportunity to expand my mind and to learn from people with combined experience of over 200 years. I was there for 3.5 years. It was there that I wrote my CFA, because I remember Victoria talked about certification. I wanted to get into core investment banking, and I did my research. Out of all the exams globally, I discovered that CFA, the Chartered Financial Analyst exam, was critical if you will play in finance and investment banking. So I wrote the exam, I passed the first stage, and then I started getting opportunity into the investment banking space. And that is what has defined all my years within the finance industry till date. So yes, I studied physics. I figured out who I was. I thought about what I wanted to use my lifetime to do. I interned in a company for almost a year without pay to get experience. I wrote a professional exam that works for that industry, and that is how I built my career till date. Thank you for listening.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. It was just as if I was part of your journey, because I followed you from where you were saying the story from your undergraduate days. And this all the more proves that undergraduates here, you can start building your career even as an undergraduate. You don't need to wait, till you're out there. He started his own process. I hear relationship, I hear problem solving, I hear clarity again. But you need to understand that clarity is a journey. As you can, based on what he has shared, you can see that he transited from several levels of his clarity, and then another thing he talked about is identity, which is very, very powerful. Because if you're not clear on certain things, even when opportunity comes, you would not even know they are for you. And this is really, really, really very amazing. So please, at this point, I want you to start dropping your questions. I know that you have a lot of questions, because this is just introduction, just one question here, and my book is already filled up. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Sas. Thank you, Mr. Abraham, Mr. Adewale. Thank you so much, Miss Yeku. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayotunde. We're so grateful for that. So while we're waiting for other people to drop in their questions, I have a question, and this is coming up from a conversation we already had from the first question. Mr. Abraham, you mentioned studying, physics, but somehow you're in finance. I don't, logically, there's no relationship in that aspect, studying physics. I studied accounting, and I know that we didn't do anything close to physics or science like that. So, with respect to your growth in your own industry, in the finance industry, which has been more valuable to your career? Is it education or work experience? I mean, you studied physics, but you're not doing anything related to that. So what do you think is more valuable, education or work experience?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that question. So I will say that this is where the physics has become useful in finance. I've been on infrastructure projects. I've been on electricity projects. I've been on telecom projects where my physics became very central to the execution of those transactions. And that is why I agree, like Steve Jobs, never discount your history, because it is life happens layer upon layer, and you may never even know what is going to give birth to tomorrow. So yes, in a way, the physics has given me strategic advantage even in finance. Secondly, there are areas of finance that are very, very mathematical in nature: derivatives, fixed income, portfolio management, corporate finance, equity analysis. So many mathematics involved. Because I have mathematics and physics background, it was an easy ride for me, compared to my friends who studied accounting and finance related. So yes, everything eventually comes to work together for your good. So yes, back to answer the other part of your question, education or work experience. Of course, you all need to get educated, so you need to go to school. And most of us, whether you studied what you chose, you studied what you didn't choose, your friend filled your JAM form for you, it doesn't matter. I have a friend who studied Yoruba language, and she's doing very well in the banking sector. So don't see your background as a disadvantage. The most important is, there's a quote that says it doesn't matter where you started from. It is where you want to end. So for me, I had physics background, but I wanted to make a difference in finance. And I used that physics background as a leverage for certain areas in finance and also education. That was the foundation, and then the work experience. So remember I said that I didn't just take any job. I chose the company that had what I wanted to become. Went to intern for 1 year, and then that started opening new doors for me in the finance industry. So yes, it is a balance of both education and having the relevant experience that pertains to where you want to be in life. Thank you.
Wow, I really heard this clear.
Can I
Never
add to
discount
that?
your history.
Yes, thank you.
Yes,
Can
I
add
actually
to
want to
that?
even ask you that question as
Okay.
well. Yeah, I want to
Yes.
ask you the question as well. As an HR executive and a career professional that you are, you would answer that question and also answer this: which is more important, certification or experience? So just answer everything together.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. So for me, I align very well with Abraham. That response was spot on. And I just want to use it to highlight the difference between knowledge and competence. So for us in the HR industry, both of them interplays. Before you get to that point of competence, knowledge is very important. Like Abraham said, do not discount your history. No matter what, whatever you study, you might consider it irrelevant, but I tell you, it will be relevant in one way or the other in your journey, in your career journey. I read biochemistry. Today I'm doing HR. So have I used any of my biochemistry knowledge? Yes, one way or the other, maybe not in every way, but in terms of psychology, in terms of understanding, processes, yes, biochemistry came in handy for me, especially when you're talking about human psychology as well. So do not discount whatever you are studying or learning, do not discount it. Now, in the place of certificates or experience, those are also two different things. Now, your certification gives you that knowledge power, but your experience helps to build your competences over time. They interplay, they intertwine. So even though you have some level of certifications, anyway, depending on your industry, for some industry, for you to even make progress in your career, there's a certain level of certification that you must have, because that helps you become an expert in certain area. I'm in HR, I have my CIPM certification, I'm practicing HR. Sometimes you have your certification without practicing. It does not mean it's not useful. It would come in handy one day in your career journey. So do not discount both. If you have the opportunity to take a certification, please take it, but ensure that it's relevant to your career path. That's one. And if you have an opportunity to learn, to take up volunteer job or to intern somewhere, so you can build that experience and begin to, build on your competencies and expertise, please also take it out. So it's two ways. It's dicey. It intertwines. It interplays. Do not discount one for the other. Thank you.
Wow, this is, I'm so grateful for these answers. Thank you so much, Mr. Abraham and Ms. Yeku. I mean, it's really, really very, very clear. So whatever we're doing, just ensure that it is relevant to your career path. Mr. Ayotunde wants to add. So please, sir, in 1 minute, just add to this conversation. And then permit me to say this, sir, please, before you contribute to this. There are some questions in the Q&A. And I want us to maximize this section as much as possible. We have just 15 more minutes to go, and we have lots of questions. So some of these questions are directed to individual panelists. Please click on the Q&A, and you can start typing the answers there, if you don't mind, so that we maximize the time as much as possible. Okay, sir, over to you, sir, Mr. Ayotunde.
Thank you very much, Victoria. My co-panelists could not have said it better. The icing on the cake for me is that my journey is a bit different from that of Abraham. I studied business administration. And the advice I have for us today is, whilst we've talked about competency, we've talked about knowledge that the work experience and your certification gives you, there is a role in personal development. Today, I can discuss power sector like an engineer, and I never studied engineering. When I speak with engineers, they ask me, oh, which engineering course did you study? And I tell them I studied BizAdmin. I can discuss aviation, I can discuss agriculture, I can even discuss education to the nitty-gritty of accreditation requirements, the number of students ratio per lecturer, up to curriculum level. And this is because of personal development. As you've had your certification and you are growing in the experience in your career, spend some time personally to invest in those knowledge areas that you didn't come across from your certification or from your work experience. That helps you become a rounded person. That's my
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. And we learned a whole lot from this particular answer as well. Personal development cannot be overemphasized. Please, again, our panelists, Mr. Ayotunde, Ms. Yeku, Mr. Adewale, and Mr. Abraham, you can start using the question and answer button. For some of the questions, I might not be able to ask them. We have just 10 more minutes to go. You can just type the questions, and while I proceed with the other ones, I can read out. Okay, so I would like to ask Mr. Adewale this question. Mr. Adewale, sir, can I proceed?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Amazing. Okay, so if there was one thing you wanted undergraduates to know about employment, about skills, what would that thing be, and why we're running off the section? If you have any, if there's any advice
so
to undergraduates or even
yeah, one thing. Okay, so it might not be one thing, but let me just say some things. First thing you should know is the world is changing, and the world your parent told you about is not the world you are living in, and it's not the one you will graduate into. So right now, while you are in school, what is that skills that you have? What is the things you are learning? All the time you are spending on Facebook, you're spending on Twitter, spend on Snapchat, are you using it to acquire skills? There are a lot of skills out there. Talent is one thing that we have in Africa. I tweeted yesterday that talent is our crude oil, is our next crude oil, because whenever I go to Europe and everywhere, I see old people everywhere. But in Africa, we have lots of young people. So, and the talent, the job you will be fighting for in some years to come now is going to be this job people in India, people in China, and everywhere are going to be fighting for. So, while you are in school, what is that skill? There are some students that you might not know that you guys are in school together and are working for companies in the US, working for companies from different parts of the world, and they're living well. And there's some of these things we are trying to work to make sure people have skills now. Because I'm so sorry to say this, but there's whatever they are going to give you in school is not what you are going to use in the real world. And you know the number of unemployment we have right now. Do you want to join the number, or you want to be different? You want to separate yourself? And you have the opportunity right now because you are living, you're eating your parents' food, or some people are feeding you. You are living on everything. You just have time. The only thing you have now is time. How can you now convert that time? How can you invest your time to make sure in some years to come, you are a valuable person and you're not just ordinary person in the world? And there are a lot of possibilities. See, COVID even opened the entire world, because right now companies are open-minded. They understand the concept of virtual environment, virtual work, remote work right now, Nigerian companies. So that's what I just want to challenge anyone here that is in school. Ask yourself, what is it that I have that is different from every other person, from millions of people that are unemployed right now, that the people that will be employable, not just employment, that I will even create jobs. People are creating jobs. Younger people are creating jobs. They are not just, people are not just looking to get jobs any longer. They are looking to create jobs. So that's one thing. I mean, it's not one thing, but that's what I would try and challenge people on this call for.
Amazing, amazing. What you said now, I really can relate. I graduated 2 years ago, and even as an undergraduate, I think I wrote my I released like 4 books as a final year student, went on to make money from that book, did a lot of things, even as an undergraduate. So really, there's no excuse whatsoever. You need to be able to prepare yourself to stand out. There are millions of people who are graduating with you. Why should people give you that job you're looking forward to? Okay, so you need to be able to invest in personal development. Our panelists here have shared a whole lot. I wish I had, all of these things I had when I was in school. I probably would have been a billionaire by now, but beyond the money, I probably would have done more impact work as well. But thank God for the journey, and thank God that you have the opportunity to learn all of this as well. So I'm going to be asking one final question because I think we have just about 10 more minutes to go. And this is going to be a personal, 19 minutes to, so I still have like 2 questions to ask. I have more questions. So if people can even increase it to 1 hour more, but that's fine. So Miss Yeku, I want you to tell us this. What's the difference between a career sponsor and a career mentor? And is it really very important? Is it necessary to have a mentor? Or we can just glide through life and it will be fine? Everybody will be fine last, as the usual adage says.
Okay. Thanks, Victoria, for that amazing question. So I look back to my life, and sometimes people see me now and say, oh, you've done so well. You've achieved so much for yourself. I cannot but make reference to some mentors that have helped me, guided me in my career. Now, mentoring is very important. Who is a mentor? A mentor is someone who's gone ahead of you, who is more knowledgeable, or who is an expert field on your career, and that's on their experience. For me, mentoring has played a critical role in my career success. A mentor is someone that I can reach out to and seek advice in line with my career aspiration. And a mentor who is more experienced will tell you, okay, this is the route to go, this is the route not to go, because you are leveraging on their experience. They are holding your So imagine if to cross, and it's an adult that have crossed that path, and an adult holds the hand of that child to cross. Tell me, that child would find it easier to land if the child even had to jump with the adult holding his or her hand, compared to the child having to struggle, fall, get up, and all of that. The way the world is now, it's easier for you to access mentors. Now, mentors are people, sometimes there might not be people that know you one-on-one, but there are people like role models that have gone ahead. You like their success journey and you want to learn from them. And from that way, you can study them and all of that. For me, it got a point in my life that I wanted to do more, but I didn't know how to go about it. And God brought some mentors my way. Today, Pastor Kule Shorin is one of my key mentors. I have a couple of others as well, who took his time to talk me through the benefits of the decisions I was about to take, and the downside of it, and left me to take my decision. But today, every decision I've had to take with a career mentor has really helped me. Now, let's talk about career sponsor. Now, a career sponsor is someone that perhaps has an influence over decisions around your career, right? So I'm in an HR industry. I have a career sponsor who might also be my mentor, and their decisions ongoing, but the person has the power to influence that decision over my career. That is a sponsor. However, I always tell people mentoring is key for career growth and success. And we seek mentors in different ways. Some personal, some role models that you follow online and all of that. And that is one of the things that has helped me to design the book that I recently published early this year, because I found that there was a point in my life that to access mentors was a problem. Well, I had a particular mentor that I would go to her office. I'll wait 4 hours to speak with her. I would have gone with my notebook, with my questions, with so much excitement. Then I get to her office, she's in a meeting, I'll wait 4 hours. Then she'll come out of that meeting and we'll spend those 5-10 minutes together. She's rushing into another meeting, blah, blah, blah. That. And I will leave her office downcasted, disappointed, with so much yearning, for more. Now I grew in my career, then the table turned. And I have people reaching out to me, Coach Lara, come and mentor me. And I'm excited. Okay, let's schedule this time. And next minute, she rescheduling, I'm rescheduling. And I realized that I wasn't giving enough of my mentoring time because of the nature of my role. And I said to myself, I've been through this pain. I will not allow younger people go through this pain that I went through. So my point is, sometimes when you go through certain pains in life, it's a feedback for you to solve that problem. Then I asked, what can I do to solve this problem? So I reached out to a few people and I asked, okay, how about sharing your story? Because research has also shown that storytelling is powerful. We learn more from storytelling. How can we share our stories with young people so they can learn? And 56 HR people said, okay, that's fine. We want to share our story with the world. And it's been phenomenal.
True.
So we have a mentoring book that anyone, regardless of your industry, can be in finance, it can be project management. The truth is, success principles are universal. If you're in HR and you apply certain success principles around hard work, personal development, and you're in finance, you still apply it, or you're in law, you apply it, you will be successful. So mentoring plays a key critical role in our career development. It's important you have one. If you have access to a career sponsor, please leverage on it. Those are part of the things that would help enhance your career growth. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Because we're short on time, we have lots of questions to ask, so we respect our panelists' time and we respect your own time as well. This section is scheduled to last for just 1 hour. But she spoke a lot about career sponsorship and career mentorship, and I know that she really wanted to share much more. And that's why she's offering the book, my HR story book. Please, there's a link in the comments. Do well to check it, assess it. This is what we're talking about, investment. If you're not able to invest in your growth, I don't think any career mentor or sponsor is willing to invest. You need to make that investment first in your personal development as well. So do well to leverage on the book that she has written to help you glide on that path. And so we're coming to the final section of this. The final question of this particular panel section. It's been an amazing ride. I've enjoyed myself, and I'm sure you have too. So please, sir, Mr. Ayotunde, Miss Yeku, Mr. Adewale, and Mr. Abraham, in 1 minute each, or let's just say 2 minutes each, because I like story. Let me increase the time a bit. In 2 minutes each, please, I want you to tell us what inspires you to work and what's the best advice you can give to every one of us here looking to break into the industry. Every single one person here wants to be successful, but we know that it goes beyond just claiming or dreaming to be successful. There are a lot of strategies that need to go under the water. So please, based on your own story, based on your own journey, your experience, your expertise and exposure, we would like to know what are the strategies to help us convert our dream of becoming successful to actually living that reality.
Thank you.
So who's going to go first?
Let me allow
it's an open floor.
This time. I think I've been getting the first round.
All right, thank you. So let me go first. Firstly, I wish this was a physical webinar, seminar. I would have loved to meet Lara in person, Ayotunde and Adewale. I follow them closely on social media, but I'm glad I'm meeting them on this platform. We will take the conversation offline. Amazing. Then, what do you do? Based on what Lara said, 2.5 years ago, I set up a network called the Finance Professionals Network to mentor as many people who have interest in the finance industry. And what we have done over the last 2 years is to create a cascading level of mentorship. So once you enter the network, there's always somebody one way or the other who is handholding you in different areas or the other, whether it's asset management or investment banking or whatever. So check it up on LinkedIn, you can follow, you can be part. So that's, I think, there we'll be able to share as much as possible resources, internships, and so on. And Student Finance Club UniBen is also part of that network. So that is one. Then the second thing I would say is, just like Lara said, I have a book coming up as a guide for people who have interest in finance. I hope Lara and Ayotunde and Adewale will help me write my preface. It is just to, again, improve the conversation, provide more guidance, and then thirdly, I'm on LinkedIn all the time as much as possible. Some of you have reached out to me, I've already responded. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so I think we can take the conversation further. So, but I will say, out of everything they have said, you have to open your mind. You know, there's so much to learn, there's so much opportunities. You know, people are writing, people, you know, open your mind, pay attention. I'm taking not less than 6 professional courses at any time of the year because I still don't know enough.
Wow.
So I will encourage you, learn a lot. Get the book from Lara, make sure you read it, and follow them on social media. We never stop learning. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sir. So let's move on to the next. Please don't go yet, sir, because we'll have to do the applause together as well. So who is next? Mr. Adewale, Ms. Yeku?
Yeah, I can go. So,
Mr.
for
Ayotunde.
me, so Mr. Abraham, please, please reach out. Mr. Abraham, please reach out. For me, I think what I would tell everyone is you have what it takes to be successful, to be whosoever you want to think, you want to be. But one thing you need is the power to think. And guess what? It's free. Every one of us, we have it. How do you think? How do you enhance your thinking? What are the videos? You know, a lot of us, you see, what makes a security guard and the oga that owns the house, the difference between them is the power to think. Because over time, when you think and you do something and you take action, you will realize that some things are possible. Then you will go beyond the first level. You keep going, you keep going. And sometimes it's so sad that we've been structured in a way that they don't want us to think again. You understand? The school doesn't want us to think. Our parents sometimes, they don't want you to think. But people that change the world and people that are still going to change the world is just the power to think. That's the only thing they have. You see someone just woke up one day and said, okay, cars will run on electricity. You understand? And we are thinking of electric cars. Someone will wake up different. It's just the power to think. How do you think? Every day, right now, some of the stuff I'm working on that people will be hearing soon is, I just realized that, okay, opportunity is, people go to meet, talent goes to meet opportunity. Why don't we reverse it? Why don't we take opportunity to talent? Why don't we democratize and decentralize opportunity? And that is why everybody wants to come to Lagos and stuff. And we started thinking about it. Then I got some other people to work with me, and we realized it's working. It's something that can work, and we are working on it. And you too can do it. It's just, when you say you want to think, thinking is about your experience as well. You understand? What are your experience? And YouTube is there. Do you know how many videos there are on YouTube? I watch a lot of weird stuff, weird in the sense that I just watch people thinking. How do people think in different people? How do people like Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, how do they think? Why do they think the way they think? What are their thinking pattern? What did they say? And you will realize that just with that alone, you will change. A lot of things will change. And this Nigeria, we all need you to disrupt it. Everything, think, and question everything. Question everything. Thank you. That's my last.
Amazing. Thank you so much. The part to think, question everything. Please, our next two panelists in 1 minute each, please. We're already short of time. I want you to share with us, your final thoughts.
Okay, so I'll go next. So my final thoughts to everyone is, you are destined for a purpose. And we are all alive because at the point of recreation, millions of sperms were released, but we made it through and we conquered. Now you're on Earth. So you're destined for a purpose. Regardless of how you feel, how you think, or whatever situation you might find yourself, you are destined for a purpose. Understand what your purpose is. Appreciate yourself. And I think I'll encourage people to practice more gratitude, because when you are grateful for where you are, then your mind opens up to think. If you cannot think while complaining, so you need to be in a state of gratitude at all time and know that you're here for a purpose. The world needs you, Nigeria needs you, Africa needs you, the global world needs you. And guess what? You are unique and you're great in your own way. Thank you.
Powerful. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayotunde. Please give us your final thoughts on this as we wrap up this section.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you to all my co-panelists. I'll make this as brief as possible. First, have a vision. When I was young, I decided on what I wanted to become and what I did not want to become. 2, work hard at that vision. It involves surrounding yourself with people that share the same type of vision. The friends I have are people that are upwardly mobile, not people that are on the downward spiral. 3, there is no end searching of knowledge. And this is reinforcing what Abraham has said. I'm rounding up an MBA and I'm already telling my wife that, look, it's going to get boring. I need to get on the next thing, probably go for my PhD or do another master's course. There is no end to learning. You have to continue learning. Thank you.
Wow. Please, at this point, I need a virtual standing ovation for all of our panelists. I want to see it in the comments. A virtual clap. I want to hear it. I know that I will not hear it physically, but virtually, I want to be feeling the loudness of that clap. So I want you to drop it right now in the comments. Put the fires, put the clap, put the laws. I'm not seeing anything. We'll not go. We'll end the section. And we have another section to go on to. Please, I want to see it. I want to see it because it's been value upon value. It's been, a lot of things have been exposed to us, and I'm so grateful to all of our panelists. I'm so grateful to Mr. Ayotunde. I'm so grateful to Ms. Yeku. I'm so grateful to Mr. Adewale and Mr. Abraham. And thanks to Student Finance Club Uniben for putting all of these together. Thanks to you as well for committing to this journey. And I do hope that you pen down a lot, and beyond penning down, beyond being present here, you're going to work out on everything that all of our panelists have shared from their over how many years of experience. So thank you once again for being here. Thanks to our panelists. God bless you all. I am Victoria Nwanna, and it's such an honor and so grateful to have been part of this amazing. This is the best panel section ever that I've had. Thank you so much. And over to you, Mr. Elijah.
Thank you very much, Victoria. It's been a pleasure, honestly, I must say. Mr. Abraham, the founder of Finance and Professional Network. Thanks for honoring our invite. Mr. Adewale, Yusuf, Lara, Yeku, and Mr. Ayotunde Funsho. So I would just like to sell myself too. I'm a penultimate year student from the University of Business Administration too. So it's a privilege, honestly, I must say. And the COVID has really given us the opportunity to host a lot of key industry players. I must say, all thanks to COVID, though. All thanks to COVID. So I know that when I'm resuming school now, I'll just swallow all the thoughts I've gotten from you guys and put in the best work I can do into trying to provide relevant opportunity information to other undergraduates, because I think that's the key criteria. Nevertheless, I also urge other undergraduates to do not neglect your studies anyway. If like I said, I stated at the beginning of my section, at the beginning of my opening speech, I said that we are just like a magnet. So we are walking through the forward of the university. So we try to attract other things too. Try to see the information you get, to position you for your for the life after school anyway. Because I got my first internship when I was in 100 level with Sterling Bank. It was because of this association too. So we try to get information from like minds, because the competition out there is very, very critical, I must say anyway, because I know Jeremy can testify to that. Jeremy can testify to that. He was the past president. So these are the kind of things we try to do. We want to, help undergraduates as well as recent graduate, bridge the gap between the workplace as well as the classroom. So thank you very much to all our panelists, my very energetic moderator, Victoria Nwanna. Sorry for always mistaking your name. So thank you very
I need to
much.
change my name to Vanessa, actually.
No, Vanessa was the host for last year. Vanessa was the host for last year, so I was like, Vanessa.
Oh, I know she's my.
Looks like all the ladies' names that start with V, they have energy. Don't worry, there's no problem. Thank you very much, everyone. So we'll go on a 2-minute break, and our next speaker is already here. It's from Mentally Awareness Nigeria. We'll be talking on stress management, building block to that's the building block to career development. So despite the fact that we are trying to pursue for our goals and we want to attain our goals too, we need to be mentally stable and a lot of stress. I must say, in the past six months, despite the fact we are trying to apply for opportunities and stuff, we are always induced with stress. You get so we need to be mentally stable to at least continue for the next three months that would end 2020. I know 2020 never started on a good note, but definitely we're going to end it with a bomb anyway. There's no problem. So in the next 2 minutes, that will be 1:34. We'll kick off immediately with our next talk session. That's Anthony Ojukwu rather. Thank you very much. So 1:34, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. So persons have left. Okay, with a quick, with a quick break. We are back. This is already 1:34. 1:34. Please, if you are still, yeah, awesome, awesome. I can see you. If you are still present, kindly send in an emoji in the comment section, please. Oh, you wanted DJ? There's no problem. You wanted DJ? There's no problem. There's no problem. Since I've already stated that we are to begin by 1:34, because I know the opening ceremony and music was very nice. There's no problem. Tomorrow we'll start with another vibe also. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you very much. So we'll be running through. Thank you, Benjamin. Keep the comment section bubbling. I can see them. I can see you guys emojis. Please keep dropping the emojis, please. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, guys. So you guys are everyone is ready now. So I think yeah, some persons are coming back now. Cool and fine. So I would just love to read Mr. Anthony's bio. Then we jump right into the section. So let's welcome Mr. Anthony Ojukwu. He's a psychologist and will be representing Mentally Awareness Nigeria. He's passionate about mental health and with a degree in philosophy, he has great interest in neuroscience and research. He enjoys being a part-time nerd. He would like I would love him to try to explain that part-time nerd anyway. And he's also a retired musician and a storyteller. So welcome on board, Mr. Anthony Ojukwu. It's great having you with us.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. But looks like
Okay, that's great.
is your video on? I don't know. I can't see your face.
Yes, my video is on. It is.
Okay, awesome. I can see now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Am I to start?
Yes, you have to start now. It's 1:37.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. I'm a graduate of psychology, BSc Anambra State University, MSc Clinical Psychology, University of Ibadan. I am the lead of the counseling team at Mental Aware Nigeria Initiative, MANI. As for the part-time nerd, does it need an explanation? Okay, let's say part-time I'm a nerd and other times I'm something else entirely. Well, I just explained actually. Okay, so so our session for today is stress management, a building block to career development. You know, most times when I come across undergraduate and recent graduates, I understand that stress is a major factor. It's very important, and a lot of people do not really understand the consequences of stress or the severity of stress. And you know, the pressure on this generation is quite different and it's quite more than the pressure of our parents' generation. And most times you come across undergraduates who are 25 years old, 24 years old, still in the university, and they tell you stories of their parents, how their parents made it at the age of 20, 21. And that comparison is always there. And it adds to that stress factor a lot. And we find people who are going through a lot of mental health crisis, and we have come to understand that most of this crisis they go through is quite environmental, and it is due to the stress that they are under, though they don't really know that they are under stress. So I'll start with defining stress. Stress can be seen as a strain, S-T-R-A-I-N, a strain on a person. The strain could be either physical, emotional, or psychological. So stress is something that we go through every day in our lives, funny enough. But people do not know when enough is enough. So as human beings, we need to have a limit to the things that we do. Because if we do not have a limit to the things that we do, then we are going to push ourselves beyond our capabilities. And sometimes, or most times, the result is not always positive. The result is not always good. And we find out that we've broken ourselves and it takes a while for us to put ourselves back together. In our day-to-day lives, everybody goes through stress. It is a normal thing. You know, stress when you're going to your workplace, stress when you're going home, stress when you're going to the class. As long as it is a strain on you, you know, there's a physical strain, emotional strain, psychological strain. It is stress. When you want to go cook in the kitchen, it's also stress. And that's why there are people who will tell you, oh, I'm so tired. You know what, I'd rather stop than enter the kitchen because it's quite stress. And the thing is, we have positive stress and negative stress. Because without stress, you won't actually be able to do much as a human being. Without stress, you won't be able to cook that food so that you can eat. And stress is very important because stress is like a force that propels you and that motivates you to do better. So let's say you have an examination coming up the next week. You have to go through a certain amount of stress for you to be able to prepare for that examination. Because if you do not go through stress, you won't be able to prepare, and then you will not have adequate information to be able to put down the things that you've studied in the examination. But then when does it become too much? That's when it becomes negative stress. And this is when it is affecting your life, it's affecting your mood, it's affecting your thoughts, it's affecting your emotions. And sometimes you just see people, they break down. I can't take it anymore. It's just very overwhelming. I'm stressed. At that point, it has changed from being positive stress to negative stress. Which brings us to stress management. Why is stress management important? One may ask. Stress management is important because without managing your stress effectively, you're going to break down. It's going to become negative stress, and it affects a lot of the things you do or that you would do, which in turn will quite damage every other thing you've managed to work for. So let us use this as an example. So let's imagine that you are on your way to becoming an A student, a first-class student. You're studying very hard. You know, you've gone through positive stress by studying, by attending classes and everything, but then you've not been able to manage that stress effectively. You've not been able to know when enough is enough. And let's say a few days to your final exam, you have this mental breakdown. The stress has gotten to you. It's now negative. It's now affecting you. You are now irritable. You don't want to talk to anyone. You just don't know what to do. And you go into the exam hall due to frustration, due to the effects of stress on your brain. You know, there is a whole lot of things happening within your head. And you just explode in the examination hall. You say, oh no, I can't do this anymore. You erupt. Yes, for a lack of a better word, you erupt. Now imagine the previous years you've tried, or the reading you've done to get to that level is at the verge of being destroyed because of the mental breakdown that you have. So that mental breakdown can make you that you no longer want to take that exam. You just say, what's the point of all this? I'm tired. I just want to sleep. I'm tired. I just want to go away. And that stress makes you have a breakdown that people start to look at you. Is this person possessed? Is this person okay? Because let's be honest, in our country, Nigeria, a lot of people don't really understand how mental health plays a role in everything that we do. And they see that when somebody is doing something quite different from the norm, they tag the person as being possessed, even though the person is just going through a trying time, or the person is just under a lot of stress. So stress management is very, very, very important in building your career, because without stress management, that career that you're trying to build will not be able to last long. So how do we manage our stress levels? Managing your stress levels comes with, number one, knowing when enough is enough. You as a person should know when enough is enough. So as the lead of the counseling team, I deal a lot with crisis. So I handle the hotline sometimes. I attend to emergency cases, suicidal cases, panic attack cases, depression cases, and so many other things. I have people calling in telling me that they are at the verge of killing themselves, and I have to, think on the spot to try to help this person. Now, if I do not manage my stress effectively, one day a patient or a client is going to call me and I'm going to go off on the person. Because sometimes I get a call and I'm weak, I'm frustrated. We take in a lot of people's pain. We take in pain all the time, and we do not have the time to effectively recharge ourselves of the energy that we've given out. So it is very important. So let's say I do not know when enough is enough for me. I do not know when to take a break and say, oh, you know what, I'm sorry, I've had enough for today. I need to rest. I need to recharge so that I can effectively attend to other people. Because if I don't recharge, I won't be able to do much on a long-term goal. So let's say I've seen about 10 patients or 10 clients today. I'll use clients, it's better. Let's say I've seen about 10 clients today and I still have about 3 more waiting for me, and I know that I've gotten to my limits. If I don't recharge, I won't be able to attend to those other 3 clients effectively. In fact, if I'm not being careful, I'm going to go off on one of the patients. We've come across cases where you see clinicians, they go off on the patients like, what is wrong with you? Can't you just do this thing? It's very simple. Why you, in fact, you are stressing me out. Get out of here. Which is something a clinician should never do. Okay, there is no excuse for that. No matter what you're going through, there is no excuse for that. But because the clinician did not effectively manage their stress, they did not know when enough is enough, they ended up seeing that other person, and then the other person's problem just compounded with theirs, and they erupted on the patient or the clients. Meanwhile, if they had managed their stress effectively by knowing that enough is enough and tell the person, I'm sorry, I need to recharge. I can't see any more persons today. I need to take some time off. I need to take some minutes off to recharge. If they had done that, they would have been able to regain their energy. They would have been able to bring down their stress level, which will help them to attend to more people. They may even be able to attend to more than the 3 people they initially booked for themselves. Knowing when enough is enough. The same thing with career development and plans. You are building your career. You have plans. You have toiling, because the truth is you have to burn the midnight candle. If you do not burn the midnight candle, you are not really going to get much done. If you do not think, if you do not envision, if you do not plan, you're not really going to get much done. But in the process of thinking, your brain is working at the same time, right? I think when I was still young, they usually told us that, oh, you only make use of at most 10% of your more than 10. If you make use of more than 10% of your brain, something is going to go wrong with you. You're going to go mad or something. No, that is not true. We actually make use of over 90% of our brain every day, because different parts of our brain is working for a specific thing. So let's say that, for example, you're trying to plan, you're trying to build the things you want to do, you have to do, but you do not know when enough is enough. You do not know when you've had enough for that day and that you need to rest and recharge yourself. You're going to find out that sooner or later, you will erupt. That's the thing. You are going to erupt. So stress management is very important. We can talk on and on and on about several instances where the lack or where the lack of proper care for stress has destroyed people's work. You know, you go to an organization where somebody has worked for years. The person has a very beautiful, but then the stress is getting to them. Yes, they do not know when enough is enough. And one day they just come in and they destroy 15 years worth of work due to one simple breakdown. They say that it can take years to build a mansion or to build a city, but it can only take a day or a few days to tear it down. So lack of stress would lead to you destroying things that you've carefully worked out for over the years. How, apart from knowing when enough is enough, which is the number one criteria or the number one point you need to take notes when you're managing stress, what then do you do when enough is enough? Because you need to know that you've gotten to your stress limits before you can then do other things. So when enough is enough, what then do you do? How do you recharge? Sometimes the easiest way to recharge is by sleeping. Yes, sleep. You know, just close your eyes for a few minutes, allow your brain to rest, sleep. Eat healthy food. Eat fruits. The more colorful the food, the healthier it is. You know, take oranges, carrots, apples, pineapples. We have so many different kinds of fruits you can choose from. Eat good food. Eat vegetables, because the food that you eat also helps in regulating our emotions. So we have a neurotransmitter in our brain that is responsible for our mood processes, which is the serotonin. It's a neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers in our brain. So when you eat very well, when you eat good food, it helps your body to be able to be energized and for your mood to be regulated effectively. A hungry man is an angry man, like they always say. And also, when you eat food that is terrible, you may also feel terrible. So it's important to eat very good food. Stress this enough. Okay, and I'm not talking about the fit farm, even though some of us do it, but I'm talking about exercising as a way to relieve stress. You know, we have our phones. You can create a beautiful playlist. Create a beautiful playlist that you can exercise to, even though it's something just as easy as jogging, something just as easy as doing simple aerobics and everything. This helps us regulate our mood. Also, it releases another neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine is usually seen as a reward chemical messenger. It makes us feel like we have done something good for ourselves because we have exercised. And sometimes when you exercise, you are so eager to go to the mirror, to look into the mirror and say, oh, how do I look? Oh, I'm strong enough to take on the world. It is because of that release of dopamine in your brain. So exercises can help a whole lot. One other thing that helps is casual walk, strolls, leisure. I know that not everybody lives in an environment where they can take some kind of strolls, but if you do live in suburban areas or places where you can take strolls, you really should do that. Sometimes there are some areas within your location that you've not visited. You can just decide to stroll. As you stroll, look at people around you. Just nod to them, greet to them, observe. People who are into photography can just take pictures of random stuff, test your artistic side. This helps us a whole lot. There are so many things that we can do to help with our stress management. And the point is, when you have managed your stress levels effectively, you are recharged, and then you can do more because you have taken a break or you're taking some time out for you to recharge. And sometimes as human beings, we are inspired. So I don't know if we have any writer here, but one thing I've learned in the course of writing for publications and journals is that sometimes you can start writing something down and you leave it for some minutes. By the time you go back and you read it again, you discover that there are some things that you can add to make it even better, right? Because you took some time off. It's not about you just writing once and sending it immediately. You write, you calm down, you just take some time off, you do something else to just, let the blood flow through your veins. And then you go back and you read and reread the things you've written. You find out that you have a whole lot more to add. You find out that you're actually looking at it from a fresh angle. It is the same thing with career development. When you are stressed, it gets to a certain time or to a certain limit where your brain can no longer process any more information. At that point, some people call it that their brain is blocked. What you do at that point is not to tear your things in frustration, because things will always come. We are human beings. Our mind is limitless. The things we can do is just amazing. And in order for you to achieve your full potential, you need to effectively manage your stress. You say, okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take some time out. And when you take that time out and go back to that plan, go back to review the plan, you see yourself that you're looking at it from a clear head. Let's say you sleep, for example, you sleep for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes. You wake up and you eat, you are relaxed. Your brain is relaxed. You are not in your fight, flight, or freeze mode. Your sympathetic nervous system is not on. At that moment, you are calm, you are at ease, and you go back through that plan. You find that, wow, I can actually do something different to this plan. Or a new idea comes in. Okay, I think instead of us doing it this way, I think we can do it this way. This is what stress does to us at the management of stress. It helps us to do more. When you take breaks, you are able to do even more than you expect, because as human beings, ideas will never stop coming in. Yes, ideas will never stop coming in. We keep evolving every day. I mean, whoever thought that we could be doing something like this, having a virtual webinar? Nobody. Everybody thought, oh, it has to be physical. You have to carry microphones, walk from seat to seat, talking to people. But now look at where we are. Ideas would never stop coming in. But if you do not manage your stress effectively, those ideas will not come in because you'll be frustrated. Lack of proper management of stress leads to frustration. It leads to anger. It leads to irritation. It even leads to depression. You feel that things are not working out for you. You keep trying and trying, but nothing is working out for you. You're always awake every night. You always read, you always browse, you always look for new ways to invent yourself, new ways to change the world around. But things are not working out for you. And before you know it, you are sinking down the depression avenue. You are already angry. Somebody calls you and you're, if there's no money this person calling me for, please get out of my life. You're getting irritated. Somebody talks to you and you're already irritated. You are frustrated at every effort. You write today and before you know it, you squeeze the paper, you throw it away. Frustration is already setting up. And then you start to withdraw from people. What's the point of all this? What am I even doing? I mean, look at my friends are doing this, my friends are doing that, what am I doing? Please, they should just go away. You start to withdraw. You no longer become sociable. You no longer have people you can talk to. These are the negative effects of stress. And one day you just ask yourself question, what am I doing? What's all this? So in order for us not to get to that particular place, in order for us not to get to that point where all of this affects us negatively, we have to know when enough is enough. And in knowing when enough is enough, you have to understand yourself. So we all have different thresholds. There are people who can work for hours and not get tired, figuratively speaking. There are people who need to recharge once in a while. There are people, when they talk to people for some minutes, they want to, just step back a little bit to gain themselves. There are people that can talk for hours and not get tired. Everybody is different. Do not use another person's lifestyle or another person's pattern to judge yourself, because we are all different. So once you know your limits and you say, okay, I've gotten to my limit for today, for now, I need to take a break. Call someone you love. Sometimes the voice of people that we love releases a hormone called oxytocin. It's usually called the love hormone. It makes you feel loved, it makes you feel safe, it makes you feel protected. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, it can even be just a normal friend. It can even be a stranger whose voice you just like hearing. Which is why here at Mentally Aware Nigeria Initiative, every last Friday of the month, we do what we call stranger support, where we tell people to drop their numbers if they just like to talk to a stranger. And we call, because we've understood and we realize that talking to strangers sometimes really help. You are not at risk of your confidential information getting out or something. You talk to a person and the person makes you feel like, I'm okay. The person doesn't make you feel like you are possessed. The person doesn't make you feel like you are overdoing. Because sometimes you can talk to your friends and they'll make you feel like what you're telling them is a small thing. We Nigerians, we have this instinctive attribute to always compare. You go to your friend to tell him or her that, oh, this is something that's happening to me. They will tell you, your own even small. If I tell you my own, it's just something that is very instinctive for us, and then they make you feel invalid. It's sometimes it feels like they are not validating your feelings at that point, that you are overreacting, even though you are not overreacting. So sometimes it's good to speak to a stranger to get a new perspective of things. And all these things are very important in the building of career. Okay, you can toil, you can think, you can do all of these things, but if you do not manage your stress levels, they will get to you. And when they get to you, you find out that you are becoming frustrated, you are becoming angry, and nothing is going well for you anymore. Stress management, a building block to career development. If you want to have a beautiful career, if you want to make it and be happy and enjoy, because there's a difference between making it and being happy, being fulfilled. It's important that you understand your stress levels. It's important that you manage it, so that when you work for that thing, when you bring up these new ideas, when you create these new plans, you can then bask in the glory. You can then enjoy it. People commend you, wow, you're doing so well. And you actually feel a glow on your face that truly you're doing so well because you've worked for it. And you're able to feel that way because you were able to effectively manage your stress. So that is it, everyone. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very, very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot. I've learned that very importantly, we should learn how to understand our stress level and know how to manage it effectively. And for me personally, sleeping does it for me every time. Sleeping does it for me every time. I don't know about others, but I just need to sleep. Most times I'm really stressed and I'm worked out, I'm frustrated, I'm doing something and it's not even coming up. I just need to sleep. Thank you so much, sir. It was really, 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 really insightful. I learned a lot and I'm sure everybody did. So
thank you.
I want to see the comment section roaring with claps. Yes, virtual claps. virtual applauses. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. So it's time for questions, please. I think we have some questions here in question. Okay, so somebody is asking, yeah? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So how can one deal with imposter syndrome, which is common among the young high flyers?
Okay, imposter syndrome. Now, many of the times, what lead to imposter syndrome is a low self-esteem. And that is because you can do it, yes, but you feel inferior. And when you finally do that thing, you feel like an imposter because of that low self-esteem. You don't believe that, okay, I, Anthony, for example, I am worthy of doing this and of receiving the admiration for it. So in order for you to deal with imposter syndrome, there is a high need to work on your self-esteem. There is a high need to work on the confidence. There is a high need to work in believing in yourself. And this is not motivational talk, actually. Okay. I'm talking about therapeutic approaches, scientific approaches, because the truth is, low self-esteem doesn't just crop up from a place. It doesn't just, a person does not just wake up and develop low self-esteem. Low self-esteem comes as a result of series of events that have happened. Has the person been talked down, especially by people whose opinion they value? Let's say I value my parents' opinion a lot, and my parents keep on putting me down. They keep on making me feel like I'm not good enough. Gradually, these things tend to build up. And when I do something, I feel like I am an imposter, that I'm not the person who is actually doing that thing. So to start from there, you have to start from building your self-esteem. Usually counseling helps, therapy helps. When we talk about therapy, we don't mean that you are mentally deranged or something. Counseling is something that every single person should go through, every single person, because once in a while, we just need to talk to someone to let it out and to get a different perspective. So when you go through counseling, you are able to work on that self-esteem, and you're able to work on the imposter syndrome. You're able to work towards believing yourself and get rid of that imposter syndrome. And I'm going to tell you that it's not a miracle. No, it's not something that, oh, you wake up one morning. It also comes with commitment from yourself. Do you really want to work on this imposter syndrome? Okay, now these are the things that we have to do. This is what we have to do. And it's a gradual process before we get there, but it's something that everybody or anybody can get rid of.
Okay, but you said something about counseling, yeah? This is Nigeria. I don't know how many persons see a counselor. Not everybody would fix an appointment with a counselor. So how is there any other way we can do that? Because I know that most youth struggle a whole lot with self-esteem. When you see your friends doing something, when you see your friends winning, and it happens to me sometimes. I see people doing stuff and I'm like, it feels like I'm not doing anything. I've not started, So aside counseling, what else? Because not everybody, I don't even know I don't know any counselor I can go and meet. So it's a normal thing, Nigeria, yeah. So what else can we do aside counseling?
Okay. Well, first, I work with Mental Health Nigeria Initiative, and we're a mental health organization. We push for mental health advocacy a lot of the times because in Nigeria, especially, mental health is stigmatized. You can't exactly tell someone that you're going through something and they don't stigmatize you. They don't make you feel worse, especially if you're a man. Males are always made to feel like they have to be strong. They don't have emotions. So when a male is vulnerable, to tell, oh, this is something I'm going through, they are ashamed. And the first thing that asks is, can they stop you now? You be woman. That's the first question that comes out of the person you tell. So yes. So because of that, a lot of people tend to keep things to themselves. But the problem with keeping things to yourself is you're not able to get any help for it, and it keeps on doing more damage to you. Just like an injury, for example, if you do not treat it, your cells will not be able to replicate. You're not going to be able to heal. And it just keeps festering on and on. You keep covering it, but you're not treating it. You're just covering it. It will not heal. So counseling, first of all, needs to be destigmatized. You need to remove that stigma from it. If you do not remove the stigma from it, you're not going to be able to get help. And another beautiful thing is that there are organizations now where a person can anonymously go for counseling, and it's virtual. You don't have to walk. Yes, like Mentally Aware, like Asido Foundation, like STER, Stand to End Rape. Stand to End Rape mostly is usually for people who have gone through traumatic experiences, but then they have counseling services available. For these organizations, you don't even have to fill your real name. There is no requirement just for you to send a name or a moniker for them to use for administrative purposes and your WhatsApp number. And that is it. You are able to go through counseling online without the person knowing who you are, where you live, what you do, or anything. Now you are in a safe place because you're not at risk of getting called out that, oh, Anthony is seeking counseling. Do you understand? But at the same time, you're also getting help. But in order for you to get that help, there needs to be commitment from your angle. Because if there's no commitment from your angle, you are going to go through all the counseling and all the therapy that you can, and there's not going to be any positive results at all. Because they can't force you to do what you do not want to do eventually. You are a human being, you're an adult, you have your rights to your thoughts, to your emotions, to your belief, and nobody has the right to make you feel less for it. So if you have imposter syndrome, nobody has the right to come and tell you, what's doing you now? What is it? Just forget about the imposter syndrome. Just tell yourself that you don't have imposter syndrome, because that's what we do a lot. We tell people just forget it and it will go, not knowing that these things take serious work. So counseling is there. But apart from counseling, you can talk to trusted friends. If you have friends that are sensitive, people that are able to listen to you and not judge you. So you can talk to them, and when you listen to them, sometimes the little things that we do as friends can also help the next person. So sometimes you can just give somebody a genuine compliment, even when they don't expect it. It makes the person feel better about themselves. It makes the person feel more confident about themselves, because this person recognizes me for who I am and not someone else. Sometimes you can just send beautiful messages to somebody that, Anthony, I love you for who you are. I appreciate you for who you are. You are original. You are not any other person. Coming from somebody that you love, somebody whose opinion that you value, can actually do wonders for you. And then if you're able to talk to this person can then validate you and help you work from it. So, yeah.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, so there's this question here. How can an early career individual who just started internship integrate work-life gap better? Did you hear that?
I'm sorry. No, how can what?
An early career individual, someone who just started internship, integrate work-life gap better. Yes. How can he integrate work-life gap better?
How can he integrate work-life better?
Yes, work-life gap better.
Oh, okay. Work-life gap better. It is important that from an early stage, you are able to prioritize. You have to prioritize. You have to be able to divide your time judiciously. You have to be able to know what comes first. Okay? Someone who's just starting their career early, well, from experience, I can tell you that there are going to be times when you can finally relax, finally go out. But it's important that from beginning, you develop a very good work ethic, because we have so many people who want to be employed, but they don't want to work. They just want to flex and flex and flex. And your employer will not take you seriously. Or if you are an entrepreneur, I'm sure many of us on this platform are entrepreneurs already. If you're an entrepreneur and you do not properly devote your time to your business is not going to grow, because no one is going to do it for you. But then being able to prioritize and being able to plan your time will then help you find a balance. So let's say that there are people who, due to their stress levels, I have colleagues who tell me, once it's 9 p.m., I don't receive calls from anyone. No matter who you are, I'm not going to receive calls from you, because that is my me time, that is my family time. I need to be with my wife, I need to be with my children, I need to have my family bonding. Now, before 9 p.m., probably from 7 a.m. or from 6 a.m., you can do anything with them. You can call them out of the blue, they will pick, they will attend to emergencies, but they've planned themselves that once it's 9 p.m., unless the sky is falling down, they are not going to reply you. So starting very early in your career already lets people, especially your clients, you already know that this person is a certain kind of way, and you are not going to exert yourself. You're not going to drain yourself in the process of building your career. Because in that point in time when you are having your own personal time, you are recharging. So the thing is, everything does not have to be mutually exclusive. It really does not have to be mutually exclusive. Even when you're building your career as a starting person, when you're building your career as a starting person and you've already planned yourself, once in a while you can also do other things that are out of your routine. Because you are building yourself, you are developing that balance. Now, if, for example, you're all about building your career, and then you start to forget about your friends, you forget about your family, when you've got into a particular stress level and it's becoming negative, you may not really have anyone to fall back on, because sometimes you feel or you ask yourself, what am I doing? So when I first started my career, I was picking emergency cases a lot. I was more like the emergency person at the facility. And I did not have a social life at all. And the day it got to me, the day I had a breakdown, I wanted to call people, but I was thinking to myself, will this person pick? I've not called this person in a long time. No, they will pick, of course, because they still care about you, even though you've not reached out in a while. But you are going to feel guilty, like, oh, I've not called this person, and suddenly I want to trouble this person with my own problems. You're going to feel that way because you're a human being. It's natural. But if from an early stage, you have decided to plan your time planning is very important, regardless of what anyone says. You need to be able to plan your time. This is when I want to take my bath. This is when I want to eat. This is when I want to have my me time away from work. You can do all those things and your business and your career will still move. It doesn't mean that once you take some time out from yourself, everything is going to collapse. No. So I don't know if I answered that question.
I guess so. I guess you did that. Okay, we have more questions here. Someone is asking, how do you deal with stress from your boss at work?
This is a very tricky question, because sometimes you can be working in a toxic environment that is very, very detrimental to your health. And I'm not trying to be selfish, but I always advise people to leave toxic workplaces. Yes, because at the end of the day, you're going to be crying in the toilet a lot. And you're going to be eating ice cream, chocolate ice cream a lot of the time. And so it happens. I always advise people, there are a million other opportunities. I know that unemployment rate is very high. But,
in this Nigeria.
Can do. Yes, even in this Nigeria. Because the thing is, when you are in a toxic work environment, sometimes you don't even know what you as a person can do. You become unpredictable to even yourself. You're not able to know when you want to go off the rail. Now, remember I said that you need to know when enough is enough. But in a toxic work environment, you may not be able to know when enough is enough. And one day you just boom, because you don't know when, or you did not know when you're going to do this. Now, if you're having stress with your boss, I don't really work in the organizational aspects. We have industrial psychologists for that. I'm a clinician, but to the best of my knowledge, if you're working in an environment where your boss is stressing you in a negative way, I think that this is where the HR comes in, the human resources, and you're supposed to have, every organization by law is supposed to have a HR person who is able to understand the emotions of the person, because part of the HR duties is to ensure that employee performance level is optimal. If your employee are not giving you what they're supposed to give you because of stress from the higher ups, then they are not going to be able to give you their best, and it's also going to affect their mental health. It's also going to affect their work productivity. So I usually advise that people reach out to the HR. They can talk about it if the workload is too much, especially if it's not in your job description. Don't be afraid to say no. Yes, as Africans, or as Nigerians, we've been brought up not to really say no many of the times, even to our own detriment. Come and do this thing for me. Okay, especially if the person is superior. It is important that you learn when to say no. If something is going to be harmful to you, say no. Yes, you don't have to say it in a rude way. That's the problem. Many people do not know how to say no in a polite way. But then it is your right to do so. It's your right to reach out to the HR to discuss the possibilities of the work environment being safe for you. If the work environment is toxic, if it is not safe for you, then there are going to be a lot of toilet visits. Yes, things coming down. So, yeah.
Okay, this is the final question, even though we have lots of questions here, but this is the final question we are taking. So someone's asking, how does one deal with rejection?
I'm sorry, I did not get that. How does one deal with what?
Rejection. Okay, someone is saying here that she loves your smile.
Okay. Yes, I saw it. I'm very grateful. I'm blushing, but you can't see it. So.
Oh my God, I can see it.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Okay.
Okay, so rejection. At some point in time, you're going to understand that rejection will come a lot. Now, rejection sometimes does not mean you are bad. Sometimes it just means that you're not the perfect fit for that place. Now, what I always tell people with rejection is that don't see rejection as it's pushing you down. A few years back, it was just actually recently that I started telling people, giving critical things, critical review of things. A few years back or some years back, I was very scared of that because whenever I criticized somebody, they always took it like, thank you, Benjamin. Whenever I criticize somebody, they always took it like a form of attack on them. Now, I am a trained classical instrumentalist, and I used to be part of an orchestra, and I've always, then, thank you. And then once in a while, I've had to direct choirs, and I've realized that sometimes when a person is probably performing a solo, I tell you, oh, you can do this better here. Your technique is not really good for this particular. People who are not used to being criticized will take it like as if I'm just being a hater. I've been called a hater several times, and because of that, I started keeping my opinions to myself because I did not know how this person would see my critique.
Yeah.
Now, that's no rejection. No. That's just me criticizing the person's work in a professional way, and the person is feeling that way. So imagine if that person would feel when it's rejected. The person comes to me and I say, "I'm sorry, no, we can't use your performance," without any reason, because sometimes rejection comes without reason. They just reject you, and it makes you question everything you've done.
True.
You question everything you've done. Am I good enough? Did I really work hard on this or everything? The truth is you possibly did. But in order not to lie to you, I'm going to tell you that there is room for more improvement. There is room for improvement. Even with my level of expertise, I've had to deal with patients where other clinicians in my facility probably could not handle. I've had to handle them, and at the same time, I still know that I can learn more. Yes, I still believe that I can learn more, that learning is never enough. And during this lockdown, I took a lot of online courses, and I was very baffled. Like, I thought I knew a lot, and I'm still finding new things in things I've already been doing in practice. I'm still getting new things and everything. So it just tells us that even with rejection, you can still work better on yourself, but it shouldn't make you feel like that you are not enough. Because your rejection may be somebody else's acceptance. This organization rejected you because they don't think you're a good fit. And another organization is telling you, oh my God, you are all we've been waiting for. You're the person, in fact, you're our Messiah, come. You understand? Because that organization values you and you are fit for that organization. sometimes the rejection is not necessarily about our academic or intellectual ability. Sometimes it can be due to personality. Now, it doesn't mean that your personality is bad. You are just not the fit that they want. There are some organizations that they want people who are stoic, people who are too, I don't know the adjective to use, but that's what they want. And then there are some organizations that they like carefree people who will play and everything. Now, if you as a carefree person goes to a stoic organization, they are going to reject you because that's not the kind of employees they want. It doesn't mean you are bad. It doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It just means that that organization is not the best fit for you. So in order to be on the safe side, I always tell people never stop learning. When people reject you, if you can, ask the reason why you were rejected so that you can get critical review and know this, the places you can work on. There are people who have applied to a particular organization time and again, and then they eventually got it because they worked on that particular place. But if they reject you and then you say, oh, my life is over, everything I've worked for is gone, then it's really going to be over because your motivation will be killed. So rejection comes in every form of life. Rejection comes at every level. But what you do with the rejection then matters a lot. Do you take the rejection and make it into something beautiful, or do you just wallow in self-pity?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know I said that was the last question.
Thank you.
I saw this question and I know everybody can relate. And that is why I'm going to ask. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so somebody is asking, how do we handle stress from parents? Everybody gets this. I am so sure everybody gets
parents.
This. Yes, how do we handle stress from parents? I had to ask.
I hope African parents don't see this video.
Really. African parents can really be frustrating many times. African parents can really be frustrating. So how do we handle stress? Should we pack our things and leave the house, or?
Well, this lockdown exposed me to a lot, and I got to realize that coping mechanisms for a lot of people was being out of the house. Their house was just like a place for them to sleep, and then they're out. And being at home with their parents for months really affected so many people. But I've also come to realize that sometimes our parents don't really understand, not because they don't want to, but because they cannot understand. Yes, they can't. Our generation is quite different from theirs. I always tell people that our generation is like the opening, it's like the beginning of a whole new era. So their own generation is different. Their own generation, you are not to question them. You are not to talk back at elders even when they are wrong. Their own generations are the kind of things that if your parent tells you do this, you have to do it. Our generation is the type that when they tell us to do something, we ask why. Now they will see it as an insult, but we are just asking why, because honestly we just want to know. We don't mean any harm by it. So there is this very different belief between their generation and our generation. And I always tell people that the next generation will not suffer what we're suffering, because the next generation, we as parents will be more in tune, will be more empathetic to our children, will understand them better, because then we've already known the things that we're supposed to do as parents. So this in order for you to cope with stress from your parents, you have to first of all realize that you can't really do much about it. Okay, you have to accept the things that you can change and the things that you cannot change. You cannot change their behavior. The only time some parents, get a reality check is when their children have gotten to the limits. That's when they start to think and, oh my God, did I really teach my child to this kind of place or something? Even when that happens, some parents still will not get a reality check because they cannot. Not because they will not, but because they cannot. So managing stress with them is having a hope, having this vision that you're going to leave them. You are not going to be with them forever. Yes, that's the truth. And for having that role, please don't be, if you know that you are not financially dependent and financially independent or anything, and you can leave the house, and your parents are not toxic. I don't mean toxic parents, please. If your parents are not toxic and you are not financially independent to fend for yourself, your mother and father's rights can still help you sometimes. So don't be nervous to leave. But, yes, but at the same time, have that vision that you're going to live. So whenever it gets tough, whenever it gets choking, look at that plan that I'm not going to be with them. I'm not going to be with them forever. I'm going to leave. And then sometimes ranting to your friends help a lot. It's still part of stress management. You call your friends, you rant, not because you necessarily want a solution, but because you just want to pour out those kinds of feelings. I can't believe what my mother did today, this and that. And you find that after you've ranted, you feel better. So even at all, sometimes all we just need is a listening ear. We just need to listen, not to necessarily give them a solution or something, but just to listen to them talk, to pour out their emotions. So in order to deal with stressful parents, you still have to bring in the techniques that I talked about. You can leave the house for some hours, leave the house, clear your head, recharge, and then go back. And if you feel that your parents are understanding people, if you feel that your parents are people you can talk to, you have a close relationship with them, once in a while you can sit them down and talk to them. Hey mom, hey dad, I don't think what you did is necessarily the right way to go about it. This is how I feel about it. And I love you so much, which is why I'm telling you this. And I feel that we can work together towards achieving the common goal. Sometimes miscommunication is a whole lot of the problem. Sometimes can be a whole lot of the problem. And when you be able to bridge that communication gap, then you find that your house is more of a safe space for you. But if you are in a toxic environment, because in my profession, I've come to realize that families can be very toxic, which is why I get very upset when people tell me, when people try to excuse families for the kind of things they do. Sometimes families can be toxic. I have seen it time and again. So if your family is toxic, it's important that you speak out, you reach out, so that we can develop an escape plan for you. There are so many organizations right now that help people with capitals, that help people with startup plans, and that help people with their mental health too. They also help people with legal education, especially on the side of females. On the side of females, a lot. So many females are harassed, even in their houses, they are abused, and they cannot speak up because our society is more of a patriarchal society, which is why these organizations exist to help them have a say and to have a voice. So exercise, sleep, eat well, go out of the house if you need to leave the house, visit somebody, rant, talk to a stranger, and talk to your parents if you can. These are ways you can help with stress levels in the house.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for always smiling.
Thank you.
Like someone said, it's relieving our stress.
Thank you too.
So, would you kindly share your social media handles so we can follow you for more updates? Your LinkedIn, Instagram, what have you? Yeah.
I don't actually do social media.
Wow.
Yes, I know it's very strange, especially in my age generation. Yes, I don't. I've understood, or I've got to realize that I can't handle social media. I get triggered very easily, so I stay away from it. But I think I can share my LinkedIn. I'll be able to share my LinkedIn with Elijah. I'll do that. I think it's a URL or something. I'm not tech savvy. Yes, so I can share that.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. Thank you for coming on our show. Really appreciate it.
For having me too. Bye.
Everyone is saying thank you in the chat section. Everyone is saying thank you. We love you and all of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I love you too. I'm really grateful. This has been a very welcoming space for me. Thank you once again.
Have a nice day. Thank you, sir. So guys, thank you so much for joining. Tomorrow is another day. Let's see what's happening. What's happening. So tomorrow is another day, yeah. And don't forget to share the link with your friends. Many persons enjoying today. Don't forget to share the link with your friends. And on the Telegram group, some persons, I noticed some persons joined late. So on the Telegram group, we'll be sharing some of the points the speakers and the moderators dropped.
Hello,
If you
I'm
can
back.
hear me, let me know if you can hear me, please.
Hello, I'm Des.
Yeah.
Can I come in? Can I come in
Okay,
now?
yeah, sure, you can.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much. At the end of this section, we'll be dropping some free gigs. Yeah, so that will be giveaway cards, giveaway recharge cards, MTN, Glow, and Excel. So you guys should just sit tight, and after the announcement, we'll display it on the screen. So you guys have stocks to win anyway. We'll be giving out them free CV reviews too on this platform. So you guys should do it. So for tomorrow, we'll be having Shola so Akin, yeah, Ade Akin. She confirmed her availability for tomorrow's section this morning. Anyway, I was so grateful. She'll be talking on financial literacy. So tomorrow, I will encourage you guys to join early enough, because you can see today was fully booked anyway, and there was no space. So we have to start directing everybody to the YouTube link. So tomorrow we'll be sending out the links very early. Try to come in 10 minutes before the time, because we'll be streaming everything live and direct. So yes, giveaway. Benjamin, I know you like it.
Yeah,
So
it's fastest fingers time.
fastest fingers time. So
fastest
let me just quickly
finger.
run through tomorrow's schedule. So we'll be having a financial literacy talk session, and also we'll be having a panel section that will talk about individuals groups, that's SSC members individuals across all finance clubs in Nigeria, because we've been able to have individuals that have been able to secure international opportunities, like the likes of Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, International Finance Corporation, and lots more. I know you would love to learn from them. They were students like you. They were students like you. So their stories are very relatable, Jonathan, and they are young individuals like us, and their stories are going to be very, very relatable in order to break into the industry too. So that will be done. The panel section. Also, we'll be having Oyindamola Johnson. I always call him
Oyindamola
so,
Johnson, yay!
So Big D will be coming also. He's going to host he's going to be handling the panel. He's going to be handling a talk session also on elevate your game. That's beyond the pandemic, elevate your game. So I know you know these onions very, very well, and I will also love to see you guys on board. So let's just jump right into our our giveaway. So it's just for fastest fingers. So, yes, we were just doing MTN, Glow, and Airtel. So
you're being biased now. No, now what happened to the other networks?
Which network?
Other networks? No, we are not agreeing. We won't agree.
9 mobile tomorrow. I beg.
This is not fair. 9 mobile lives matter, please.
Aluta. Yeah,
Mobile.
Definitely, but we cannot get them right now. Please just cooperate with us. Thank you very much. So I'll be showing everything on board. When you get the cards, try to int us or probably update us that you got it. So we'll be going
What's
live
happening?
now.
My village people, I cannot see the screen. No, they don't want me to win. What's happening?
You'll see, don't worry. I'm coming. Okay.
Fast fingers. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, I think someone is saying, I think her name is, my name is I'm Blessed. I'm so sorry, I didn't introduce myself. My name is I'm Blessed. The name is I'm Blessed. Thank you.
Just a minute, guys. I'm trying to load it. Okay, let's go. Hope you guys can see the screen now. So that's for MTN. Hello, can you see my screen?
We are seeing your screen, but nothing, no card yet.
What about now? That's good. I think it's up.
Yes, so
That's
MTN
Please,
users.
if you get it, try to drop a comment in the comment section. I mean, unless did anyone get it? Please.
Nobody has said anything yet. I think somebody has 2:35 p.m. I think so. Please, if you got it, kindly indicate. Thank you.
Indicate by typing I got, please. So we can just move on to the next one. Okay, awesome.
Somebody received, yes, Ayodeji. Congratulations, Ayodeji. Invite your friends tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow, same time, we'll still do the same thing.
Yes.
So.
What is it? Type the Airtel here, please.
I think Airtel is up.
Users. Yeah. Airtel users. Please, me, I'm waiting for Glow, I beg.
Please, anyone that got to just try to indicate in the comment section.
Someone has gotten
also Messi.
Messi has gotten it. Congratulations, Messi. Thank you. What's happening? My screen is not showing.
We're moving up to Glow anyway. So right now.
Oh no! My God, what's happening? No, this is not happening right now. Oh Lord. Okay, yes. My village people cannot. One. Yeah, got it! My village people got nothing on me.
Okay, congratulations, Bless.
Thank you very much. Yeah, really fast.
That was
fast like that. We are fast like that.
No issues. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much, guys.
End of the section today, and I'm very, very sure you learned a lot. So what you're doing for us, you go on social media, your social media account, hashtag SCF20.
SCF in capital letters.
Yeah,
SCF in capital letters.
S in capital letters, C capital letters, F capital letters.
Capital letters 20.
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be another one tomorrow.
Definitely, yes.
Tomorrow again. And that will be very, very huge. We'll also be giving out free TV giveaways. We have up to 10 more TV giveaways to give tomorrow and probably next. So I would love you guys to participate and save time.
Invite your friends to share with your network. Don't be stingy.
12 to 3 p.m. So today, what you guys are going to do for me is you go online on your social media and LinkedIn, Facebook, hashtag SCF20, tag SSC Unibank. We are on all platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Try to tag us. And I think, the best caption wins anyway. So we'll be announcing
the best caption wins, yeah.
So thank you guys very much for having us.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate.
From the team and I, we appreciate. Tomorrow, same time.
10 minutes before 12 o'clock.
10 minutes before 12 o'clock, please.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye till tomorrow.
We can start leaving the section, please.
Can start leaving, yes. Can start leaving. No, we can't type it on the comment section. Oh, God. Somebody said type it on the comment box. Oh my God. People are leaving. Thank you, Mohammed.